Welcome back to Relay Gun Adventures and to the PARD DS3570, which is a night vision daytime digital scope. Now, it often gets called the Starship Enterprise because of these two outriders up here, one being the laser rangefinder and the other is the RF light. This is kind of unique in some ways because it does have a completely circular screen that fills the viewfinder. So it's much like looking through an ordinary glass scope, but with a few advantages. So let's have a quick look. We've got a control array on the top there, and what you have on there is your Wi-Fi, the start and stop record and photo function on a single button. Then you've got your infrared control and 3 settings, and then your laser rangefinder. The power switch is actually on the other side, just there. And these turrets, the top one is your menu on and off. This one is a dummy, one that says PARD on it, and the other one is actually for the battery, and the battery sits across the scope itself, which is how they've managed to make this thing so compact. So your windage is literally the battery compartment, and your elevation is a menu control. The other control it has is on the front there, which is a focus ring, which is very nice and smooth. Now, another feature of this is that this lens cap actually has an aperture in it which can be opened and closed by just moving a switch on the side. What that does is it gives you focus-free functionality. So you focus it down to say 30 yards with the lens cap closed. You can then go out to 100 yards, 175 yards without having to refocus, and it does work. I've tried it. You can also open this cap and it has a lock-in feature, so as it's completely out of the way. Now, I've been asked a couple of questions about this recently, so I'm going to answer those quickly now. Somebody asked me, because this is the DS3570, and they said 70, this looks like 50 on the end. That's because it is. 70 is actually the focal length. There's other models on their way, and there's a 50 as well. The lens cap, somebody said that, does it come off? Well, the answer to that is yes, you can take it off, but you're not supposed to. If you look, the lens cap is actually completely flush with the body of the scope, and that's because it's designed that way, and that's why it locks back out of the way, so you don't have to actually remove it. You can take it off, and the way it's made is there's a ridge inside here, and there are some tiny lugs on this plastic housing that lock in. Now, I think if you take that off, you'll probably damage those lugs, or when you go to put it back, you may well damage those lugs. So this is actually a fixture, part of the scope. Don't take it off. I can also tell you that it's available as a spare, and there are some on their way. So if you have had the misfortune to take it off and put it back on and it's broken, it's not going to be the end of the world. It's a really good idea because it's a very sensitive scope. So in bright daylight, the sensor can be overwhelmed with all the light coming in. So by being able to shut that down and having the smaller aperture, you can control the amount of light that comes in and still get a good clear view. It's fantastic at dusk, and what I'm going to do in a minute is I'm going to set it up on a tripod, and we're going to go and have a look through it and press some buttons. And that really is about all I'm going to do with it, because I need to get this moved on. This is now going to be going on to somebody else for review. I was hoping to have it a month ago, and I was hoping to do some shooting with it, best laid plans and all that. But anyway, let me get it all set up onto the tripod, and we'll have a little look through. And before I do that, there's a couple of extra things in the box. There's a rubber eyepiece. I don't tend to use these, but I'm going to try it out. I think that might well be quite useful. The reason I say that is because it's set for the perfect eye relief, and that would be quite handy. So that's it with the rubber on. There's also a set of scope rings, which are Picatinny type. They look pretty good, actually, I've got to say, and I will put them on. And it's nice actually to get a decent set of rings, because quite often bundled rings aren't that good. So let's have a quick look. yeah, those are very nice. Those look like a decent set of rings to me. And we're just going to pop them on and we'll find out. But I'm sure they are good. And I'm sure that, that screw there needs to go back in one of the holes. Okay, let's go and get set up. I'll be right back. Now this is filming at twilight, and I'll show you that towards the end. And I'm looking for my beehive, which is around about 50 meters from where I'm standing. So I'm just panning along the ground just to show you the light reflecting off of the covering. And the beehive is just beyond that small wooden enclosure. So that image is very like an optical scope in daylight, except it is twilight. Now this is just a quick test of the laser rangefinder. The fence that you've just seen is about 8 meters away, and behind that is some dense foliage. So it's reading 8 meters, so it's pretty good. So there you go, we've had a look through as well. One other thing I will mention is that I don't charge my batteries in the scope. I use a battery charger. Now it does say that you can charge the batteries in the unit, and a lot of people do, and I have done it myself in the past. The thing to remember is the battery is probably the least expensive component. It's the thing that's most likely to cause you a problem, and a charger like this will probably cost you less than £10. So it's not a bad idea to have one and to charge them off the scope. It also means you can charge up to 4 batteries at a time. Sometimes I do. I've got batteries for torches, batteries for clip-ons. There's a 007 behind me there, which I'm going to put the battery out and charge. There's another clip-on here, which I should be charging the battery for as well. I don't think the battery that comes as standard with this is protected. I don't know that for sure, but I'll check. And I do tend to put protected batteries in my night vision scopes, and I buy the Samsung ones, and they're not expensive. And a spare battery is always a good idea if you're out and around and the battery dies on you. It takes a while to recharge it, and if you're not near a charger, it's even more difficult. So if you've got a couple of spare batteries fully charged, then you're laughing. I will just say the actual build quality of this is really good. Everything is substantial, it's well put together. Again, looking at the array on the top there, that is really quite a decent thickness of material. It's aluminium, it's screwed on. The actual body is very good. It's a 30mm tube. There's nothing about this that looks in any way substandard. It looks like a top quality piece of equipment. I'm very, very impressed with it. And of course it works, which is another interesting feature. As I say, I don't really have it for long enough to do a proper test. Hopefully there's some more coming. This is one of the first ones into the UK. There was 2 which were for testing and approval, and that one just went AWOL for a month. It arrived a day or so ago. There's another one out there. I know where that is, and I'm quite happy to leave it where it is for now, and I believe there's some more coming soon. So hopefully I'll be able to get out and do some proper testing, but by then everyone and their wife will have had one and done a review, so it probably won't be particularly worthwhile. This is the charging cable and the instructions. This particular model, being an early one, there's a couple of Allen keys in there as well, being an early one, doesn't have the UK approved instructions in there, but the UK approved instructions are good English, and they're labelled up correctly for the British standard requirements, as is the scope itself. That's about all there is to say at the moment. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you all again soon. In the meantime, have a good new year, and we'll catch up soon. Bye for now.